Welcome back to Conversations with Creatives. I'm Andrew.
I'm Sam.
I'm Marissa.
We are once again in our sophomore year. It's not our sophomore slump.
Sophomore slay.
Yep.
Sophomore slay.
And so today we have the Animation Club up in Rutgers. So to kind of like key us in, start us off, I thought we'd ask each other what our favorite animated movie is.
Wow. I mean, I think when you're younger, those are sort of your first movies that you watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Parents will just throw on a Disney movie and call it a
Shaping.
day. Yeah. For me, I think the number one still is, and always has been, the original 1995 Toy Story.
Good one.
Good.
It redefined animation,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know that at the time when I was 4 years old. I was just sort of fascinated by Buzz Lightyear. I would dress up like Buzz. I would fly my Buzz Lightyear action figures into the wall and then to infinity and beyond and smash it right into the wall. And now we're here today.
Yeah. And you're a filmmaker. You know, maybe you'll make, what is it fifth Toy Story?
Toy Story 5.
Toy Story
Maybe.
5?
But no, it really does start, I know for me, like with a lot of animated films and just like the fantastical nature of those movies, and really anything can happen. I think that kind of starts the creative juices flowing.
Yeah, I agree.
How about you?
I have a lot. I'm one of those people that will like go back and watch all the old movies from my childhood to like be nostalgic.
It feels
Yeah.
good.
It's just a good Thursday night. I don't know.
Because it's like a warm blanket.
Yeah, no, literally, it's like my weighted blanket.
Yeah.
She's keeping me warm.
That's it.
But I have always loved Lion King. I think it's
Classic.
really interesting how they put. It's easy to see emotions in a person, but I think it's interesting how they can really put in the emotion to an animal.
Right.
And like that's something you can only do with animation. You can't do that. You know, if you watch the live action Lion King,
lifeless.
the biggest thing, the biggest problem with that movie was that there was no emotion in their, the actual animation of
Yeah.
them. So I think that's a really important thing that animation has. You can kind of make it, as you were saying, more fantastical.
And the lack of color
Yeah.
in the live action one.
I-
We can't even really call it live action.
No, you can't. It's just CGI.
Yeah.
I think I'm a Monsters Inc. guy.
Oh,
Pixar too.
That makes
classic.
that
That's such
explains a
good
lot.
one. It does. It really does.
I love doors. I love monsters.
You love doors.
Doors. This is like eggs now. Can we elaborate? What do you mean doors?
I'm just doing a bit, but I mean, like,
No, doors is a crucial part of that movie.
Yeah.
That is true.
Because they're passageways. They're passageways.
They
Yeah.
lead to a new beginning.
And speaking of passageways, Animation Club,
Yeah.
opening new filmmaking horizons with animation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome how they make a short every single year.
Me too.
That's
Michael
really
and
cool.
Amanda really represented the club in a really good way. I think that it was so interesting to listen to them.
I agree. I thought their whole process was fascinating, especially comparing it to us with our film, like, live action films versus the Animation Club, which was much more meticulous. Every step has to be thought out. I was fascinated the whole time, and I think you guys will too.
Yeah.
So here's the episode.
Enjoy.
So I guess like our first question is that we always ask, do you guys consider yourself to be like a creative person? And what does that mean to you?
Definitely, because I mean, I play guitar and piano, and I animate and everything, and it just means being able to express yourself. In my opinion, really, that's all it really takes to be a creative person. So if you can do that, then there you go.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think everyone has a bit of creativity in them. For me, that just means like if I go too long without expressing myself creatively, whether that be like drawing or like crocheting or animating, I sort of just get restless.
Yeah.
Like during exam season, like 2 a.m., the day before my final, I'll suddenly be like, okay, gotta draw. And it's like my mind won't let me sleep until I sit down and draw something. So that's just what that means to me.
I think that's really great. Like, that creativity can be as simple as expressing yourself in whatever medium or means that ends up being.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of creativity for anything. Like if you're good at problem solving, that requires a certain amount of creativity too, because you're solution is oftentimes yours, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I like what you were saying about just like how you can express yourself. 'Cause I feel like I started writing a script like a few weeks ago, and I like didn't really have like a lot of like, I don't know, like I feel like I was kind of like a burnout spot, and then it actually made me feel not burnt out anymore to just like start writing and then just like to form the idea and then get it on the paper. It was like, oh, I've had this in my head for months, and it actually kind of burnout was that I was not doing it, and actually do it made me feel so much just like, okay, I am alive again, and I can make stuff again, and I can create again, and now I have like 2 projects now that are in my head again, and I'm like, oh, it feels good to actually like be like in this flow again.
Yeah.
100%, it's very therapeutic.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially nowadays, because I feel like we have so much going on that we don't always have time to give ourselves time to just sit down and be creative for a while. Like even like when you're doing something just for fun, it's sort of like you're always like, okay, I could be doing homework, I could be studying, could be like applying to internships and jobs.
Yeah.
But then like when you just give yourself time to sit down, it's like riding a bike. It sort of just comes back to you. It's
I
really freeing.
Completely agree. And giving yourself that permission to be creative, express yourself, like you said.
How'd you start animating then? What's the process for that, I guess?
So first thing I did was look up free animation software because I didn't really like the idea of like a subscription based thing, right? So I just started using the free animation software Krita. So it's like a drawing software, but it has a good animation thing. And since then I like made little fan animations of media that I liked. And one of my first ones was a little fan animation of Spooky's House of Jump Scares, right? Where it's like that little ink creature and it's coming out of a puddle. And I liked it a lot.
That's great. So when was that?
That was freshman year high school.
High school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, pretty similar. I think like I started just like seeing animations online back in like 2010 or like those years. I had like a really big Warriors phase. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, those are like, it's like a book series about a bunch of cats that live in the forest. Yeah, I think almost every artist that I know has had like a Warriors phase in their childhood.
It's inevitable.
Yeah, but like the online, like people were making fan animations, and the quality of those animations were actually like insane. Like a lot of the animators that I followed back then are like professional animators now, which is really cool. But I saw these like edgy cat animations. I was like, I can do that. I want to do that. So that's where I started. I do not draw cats anymore. I wish I could. I'm just not good at it anymore. But yeah, that was also in middle school, high school-ish. So then I came to Animation Club and learned how to animate properly instead of just like brute forcing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's really cool. Like for us, for film, obviously, like we saw films, but then like you like, but like for you guys, it was just like art and it's animation, and also so that was probably partially because of the popularity of the 2010s of YouTube, because like YouTube could let people who are bored and they're gonna do a quick little animation and it become a viral video, and that's like kind of the beauty of it, because people could just like share their work so openly.
On this open platform.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because also like things like animated films are kind of like inaccessible in terms of trying to reproduce what they do, because they're like multi-million-dollar, like they have such a big budget, they have like a team of people, they have software developers like dedicated towards developing like 3D animation software. And then on YouTube you just have like other people your age who like maybe you can like go past like in their past videos and see like their silly little starting animations, and you're like, oh, like that's what mine look like now. And then you look at their most recent animations and they're like insanely good, and they use all these cool techniques, and you're like, okay, like if I start now I could be like them in a few years. And I think that was really encouraging for me as a kid.
Sure. So what was sort of what was your show, your movie that sort of got you guys, that kind of made that spark inside you to want to animate?
Honestly, it was like that. It was animator versus animation, the YouTube like little short film thing. I remember watching those all the time. I was like, that's so cool, because I thought I was like a little kid and super dumb. So I thought, oh, all I have to do is draw a stick figure and it'll come to life magically.
Right.
So I was thinking. Then I kind of later on he would do a Principles of Animation video, and I saw it and I was like, oh, that's so cool. Let me try it. And then I did I downloaded Krita and I started, and it was cool.
I think that's a big part of it. I mean, I know for us, with film, and I actually wanted to be an animator before a filmmaker.
Really?
Just from fundamental to us, Looney Tunes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Watching Looney Tunes as
Love
a
Looney
kid
Tunes.
and drawing the characters, I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. I'm gonna be Mel Blanc doing the voices and everything.
It's fun to be a voice actor too.
Yeah. And then, looking at those pictures and then thinking, okay, well, how is, when you're young, there's an illusion to film, animation,
Oh, yeah.
and like a magic, like you're saying, like, oh, I wish the paper would just come to life. And then once you start to figure out how it kind of works, and if that also excites you, then you kind of go forward with that. And I think YouTube also helps with that, whether it's animation tutorials, film tutorials, kind of, I think YouTube allowed young creatives like us to kind of see behind the curtain and help us make our own stuff.
Yeah, even I was posting videos when I was like way too young to be on YouTube. I was like 8. It was like
Yeah.
2007 or 2009. I was like holding a camcorder and like I was like, I'm Indiana Jones. I was running around with the whip stuff, but
That's the
that's the spark.
Exactly.
That's the spark.
Amanda?
I don't know. I don't know if I can pinpoint one specific show or movie, but maybe again, just like being on YouTube, and I mean, like with movies, you just have to play through the whole thing. On YouTube, there's this function where you can go like frame by frame. I just
yeah.
remember
Right.
like
Yes.
after school framing through the animations like one by one and watching them on like 0.25x speed.
That's
like,
great.
Yeah, sometimes like for like really fast-paced action scenes, like when you look at the frames, they like look really silly, and I would be like, wow, so this is how they do it.
I remember like with a lot of things, you would like do frame by frame, right? And then you would realize how much detail actually got into it, right? So you would see the people in the background, and you're like, this is actually, there's stuff happening in the background that I had no idea, especially with like action scenes where it's
Right.
like too fast when it's normal speed.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't
No.
know.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen like that one Naruto scene where it's like he's fighting one of the orange-haired guys, and there's like a smear frame where his face looks like it's like being contorted into like.
Could you explain that for like for our audience who isn't really?
Yeah, sorry. So a smear,
Smear
frame
frame.
is a smear frame is basically like, okay, if you have if you have a really fast-paced motion, you can sort of distort whatever is moving when you draw it so that the motion looks sort of exaggerated. I don't know if that's a good way of explaining
It's like
it.
motion blur.
Right,
but
to
like
kinda
being able to
simulate
draw
motion
it.
blur.
Yeah. There are
Yeah.
different ways of doing it, and sometimes that involves like contorting whatever you're animating into
Yeah.
an unrecognizable shape.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen like those little memes where it's like Disney like movies, and you see like Aladdin with 7 eyes. And you're like,
Yeah.
Well, that's the reason. Is because it just makes it look more natural.
And then, so like, at your club, as someone who's an outsider, are you guys working on making films? What are you doing on like a day to day?
yeah, so every year we actually produce a 5 to 7 minute 2D animated short film.
Wow.
So throughout the year we sort of like walk everyone through the process. So in the beginning of the year we do like story pitches so everyone can pitch their own story idea. Then once we all vote on the idea at the club, and then like that idea is what we're going to be working on for the entire year.
That's
so
great.
yeah, we walk through like character design, set design, storyboarding, animation, like sound design, composing, and also like finally like video editing,
Wow.
compositing. Yeah, so basically every meeting we usually either have like a presentation or like a demo or an exercise just to teach people how to work with the software, because we're open to all skill levels, so we always have people coming in who like don't necessarily know how to use the programs or how to animate. So yeah, we'll usually like give a short lesson on what we're doing, and then we have like workshops where people can just either work on the film or like work on one of the exercises, and then they can submit it for critique at the end of the club meeting, and then
Right.
yeah, we'll go over it then.
And there's that collaboration with your team,
Yeah.
which I
Oh,
think
yeah.
is the key to making any project.
Mm.
Yeah, and in Animation Club especially, I think collaboration is really emphasized upon, just because, like, when we move from, so we start with storyboards, right, which are basically, like, any of the key moments in a shot. It's drawn out, like, the rough location of where the people and where the objects in the scene will be, and then from then on we move sort of forward into like animating the in-betweens and animating the keyframes. And like between storyboarding and animating, sometimes they're done by different people.
Right.
So, and you also have to talk to the people who are doing the shots before and after to ensure that it's like a continuous flow. And then you have to talk with the people who are composing the soundtrack to sort of get the timing together. And then like as a whole, you have to make sure the film flows nicely and the timing is cohesive. So
it was very simple.
yeah, absolutely. No moving parts at all. Yeah, and sometimes like stuff will come up and then people will like run late on their segment and then that delays the whole process for that segment. It's really all about like communicating with other people you're working with.
As you may know, Conversations with Creatives is a production by Scarlet Media. We and everyone working behind the scenes on the show are part of a great group of undergraduate students getting hands-on experience while creating content for the Rutgers community. We're live, people. Want to get involved? Come to our student mixer on September 30th from 4 to 5:30 p.m. Meet the current Scarlet Media team and no other Rutgers students who are interested in film, media, and more. All majors are welcome. September 30th from 4 to 5:30 p.m. at the Rutgers ITV studio on Livingston.
Be there or be square.
Be there or be square. Thanks.
Craft Service Podcast is a podcast hosted by Trent and Parth, two Rutgers filmmaking students just like us.
Yep.
And they interview people who work on some of your favorite movies. And new episodes air on Sundays anywhere you get your podcasts. Listen, and they'll be on this season.
They will be making an appearance the season finale of season 2.
We'll see them. And check out their pod.
So I guess more specifically, how does it go from drawing it on paper to being digitized, I'm guessing, and then put into some editing software? Or are you drawing digitally and then doing it that way?
Yeah, so traditionally, I believe, like back in the old Disney like animations, like the really old ones, like people did the drawing on glass cells.
Sure.
That was for backgrounds.
Oh, for backgrounds.
For backgrounds, they did glass cells, and then they like used it to like so that they could like move it in the background, so they would physically move the glass cell in front of the camera.
Right.
Now in the digital age, we do most of our stuff online, or we usually use like a drawing software for like storyboards and stuff, and then we use an animation software for actually doing the animation after importing the storyboards into the animation software. And then after that, we take the clips from the animation software and put it in a video editing software that we use to stitch all the clips together.
Jeez. That's actually really interesting, because for us with film, we can do coverage on a scene and do, Michael's shot, Amanda's shot, Andrew's shot. And we
camera setup.
Right, 3 camera setup. And we can film for, whatever the scene is. And then later, we cut it together. And a lot of it, maybe 70% of what we shoot ends up not in the final product. I would imagine for animation, you can't really afford to lose that much, waste all that time for stuff you're not going to actually put in the final piece. So is it kind of editing while you're making it?
Yeah, because with like filming, right, you have all these shots that you would like put together. With the animation, right, you kind of make it already edited.
Right.
So, although sometimes it's just too long and like it hurts a lot to have to see your shot.
It's hours, days.
Because there was one thing that I did where there was a scene in our most recent film, Birds of a Feather, where our main protagonist, Arlo, ran into a cabinet, right? However, no other scene had that cabinet in the room, so I had to get rid of that animation. So it hurt my heart.
Yeah.
But sometimes you gotta do it.
You gotta kill your babies, as they say.
And then, like, is there room for you to improvise in it and like to add stuff in and be like, okay, maybe I want to change this beat or change this character design? Like, how much like room do you have for that?
So for stuff like character design, that we always do character design first, because if you change character design midway, then all of the shots have to be changed. All the frames have to be changed. And it's not, since we do 2D animation, it's not as simple as just changing a model and it automatically changes it for you.
Oh, wow.
You have to like go in and like tweak whatever you need to tweak. Yeah, so that's why for us, like, storyboards is really important. We want to make sure our storyboards are solid. Because like you said, with like shot angles or like just like how the shots flow, like that's all like predetermined beforehand. You don't edit that afterwards. So like essentially, ideally, we would have our storyboards, and if we put them all together, they would just be like a bare bones version of our film. Like there shouldn't be any editing from that point.
However, there is definitely room for the animate. Like we like to let people have fun.
Sure.
Know? So like if the animator is like, if they want to add their little flourish, like the main character makes a little face, or like they do like a little, like do a gesture or an expression or something, it's good for them to do that. It's nice to have those little flavors in there. So we definitely let the animators express themselves.
Like you say, I mean, you do it a lot. You're spending hours, days, weeks, months.
Yeah.
How do you? I mean, I know for us, like we hit walls sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
How do you?
A month project that could be we've been doing it for like what, 8 months throughout the year.
Yeah, I think that was one of the reasons I joined Animation Club, because I find that like a lot of creative pursuits can be really like isolating.
Yeah.
Especially like if you want to get better at drawing, like you have to sit down and practice for hours on end. That's not really something you can do with somebody else. Like you sort of just have to dedicate that time, and sometimes like you have to choose between like, okay, do I want to spend this time drawing, or do I want to spend this time like hanging out with friends?
Yeah.
And so like in clubs, or like in like club settings, you can sort of animate with friends, and like even if you're working on like your 300th frame where you're drawing the same character doing the same exact thing over and over again, at least you're doing it like with people. Yeah, and you can like chat and talk while and like everyone's complaining about their own shots. They're like, oh, I have to reanimate this, and you're like, me too.
That's the one thing about animation. Every animator hates animating, but they also love it. So
like in the end, you're really drawing for other people to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like having that community of people who will tell you like, oh, like I'm also drawing, or like, oh wow, your drawing is amazing, is really important. And like even then, like sometimes when I get burnt out, like it's always okay to just take a break, switch it up, do something else. I think that's always helped a lot.
You can't just keep going.
No, if you keep going, like I found that like the quality of your art will decrease, and also it's like people can tell if you're not enjoying what you're doing. Like it's pretty evident. So it's important to take breaks.
Another thing is that with the roadblocks, right? Some people they start animating, right, and they just don't know how to do a certain thing. So that's another good thing about the whole club environment, is that they could just ask someone who knows how to animate better than them, so that they can like just get so someone could help them, and they'd be like, oh, you would draw like this, and you would add a smear frame here, and then it can help them like, oh, this looks a lot better, and it gives them like motivation again, because now they're over the hurdle that like prevented them from working on it.
So the club sort of helps people
It's
come out of those.
Collaborative process.
So I know that some of the stuff we've been talking about is a little technical and kind of heady, but for those who want to be part of the club, you can have kind of a base level knowledge of animation, or just an interest in animation.
Yeah. Every year I think we get a couple of people we get a lot of people who have never touched an animation program before. And I think we're working to try and make like club more accessible for people who haven't like used programs before. Like we offer Rutgers offers Adobe Animate, and we do demos in animation programs, and we'll like teach everything. Like we do animation demos, we do storyboard demos, we teach like how to do effective character design, like stuff like that. We'll walk you through it. So
that's great.
And just to kind of like wrap things up, do you have any plugs that you want to do for the school year?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So if you think you're interested in joining Animation Club, we do meet on Fridays from 6:30 to 9 p.m. At the Civic Square building. It's near College Ave. And if you're interested in joining the club, feel free to reach out to us on Get Involved, or send us an email at ruanimation@gmail.com.
ruanimation@gmail.com.
Yes, that's correct. So hope to see you guys next year.
Great. Thanks for stopping by, Amanda and Michael.
Conversations with Creatives is hosted by Andrew Alexander and Sam Finkel, and produced by Marissa Aloya and Andrew Alexander. Conversations with Creatives is a production of Scarlet Media, a hands-on working and learning program for Rutgers undergraduates interested in digital media, filmmaking, and much more. Scarlet Media is part of the Division of Continuing Studies at Rutgers University, and is associated with the Rutgers iTV Studio. Learn more about us at tvstudio.rutgers.edu.